Hey everyone, I'm Caroline Rena from the Ride of My Life podcast. And on this inner peace pilgrimage, I keep finding really cool things out, including where I was last year at around this time in my life. And so that's why I decided to do this, the poem talks. And it's an interesting one today because part of my process over the last few months, I had read a book. I wanted to show it to you, but the background kind of, it won't let me. So I read this book called Beyond the Good Girl Jail, When You Dare to Live from Your True Self. And it was written by a woman, a therapist by the name of Sandra Felt, who lives in Colorado Springs. And I got to meet her. And it was really an incredible opportunity. And it just even reading the book was so awesome, and it helped me to dive into things. But this was almost a year ago, August 31st, 2021, where I started to recognize this whole thing about being nice. Like, I was raised, and more women are raised this way, where we're kind of taught that we have to be nice to everybody and take care of everybody else to the detriment of ourselves, to losing who we are. And it's a really cool scheme because it worked. And I had no idea who I was because I was always concerned with everybody else and being nice to them, making sure that they were okay. And it was a recognition, it was an aha moment, or the beginning of it, because as things progressed over the past year, I've noticed that it's not about being nice, because you'll hear that in the poem. You can be kind to people without coddling to them. People who are manipulative, people who want something from us, whatever that looks like. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad, because we've all been traumatized, we've all been wounded in some way. But there are certain behaviors that some people emit where they, in order to make themselves feel bigger or better inside, or, maybe it's a self-esteem issue, whatever that is, they want you to take care of them. And there's this underlying subconscious, unconscious dynamic between people who are manipulative and people who want to help, like me, or want to be nice, because I didn't want to lose people that I loved, even if they didn't treat me kindly themselves, So it wasn't in my life, it was more like not a give and take. It was more, I felt like I was the one who was constantly told how bad I was or whatever. No matter how hard I tried to be nice, I was told that it was wrong and that I was still terrible. And it was okay, enough. I can't do this anymore. It's hurting me. It's causing this thing inside of me that made me feel I wanted to just explode, and I didn't know what to do. So this started coming up at this time last year, and I wrote this poem on being nice. And so here's the poem, and then I'll share a little bit afterwards. So, you must be nice, they used to say. The truth of me began to fall away. When I was just a little girl, I was taught to be nice, and later this unfurled. There was a time when my answer was yes, all the time, and can you guess what that did to me? It became a fight inside of me for what was right. It is okay just to be nice, unless it puts your soul in a vice. As little girls, that's how we were taught to be. I can tell you this, that isn't always me. And it really shouldn't be that way when we are nice to everyone every day. What about those that break our hearts or treat us like we are carts, pushing us around each and every day? We are stronger than that, not to let what you were told get in the way. The shoulds have destroyed our very being. And it's time to look inside and begin seeing that it's okay to say the word no. Don't worry about where that will go. The challenge I found is living with loss. Like if I say no, that is the cost. I will lose everyone that I hold dear, but that is nothing but a fear. That I've not been good enough to stand on my own, and now there is something I'm being shown. The showing is not out there, I find, because out there is where I'm left behind. What I am seeing is something deep inside, the truth of me where my entire life I've had to hide. Who am I in there? I'm finding is not so mild. My inner beauty is something quite wild. And in society, the powers that be told me over again they didn't want to see. The wild I am, this child indeed, was painfully made to this, agreed, with what they wanted and not who I am. This isn't right, it's just a scam. Why is it then I cannot just be me and live my beauty so others will see that I am who I am and no other, it's true, who I've been as I withdrew into desperately knowing there was something else, and in fighting myself, oh, what a mess, to this point in my life where it is time to take flight and show myself that I am right about the person that I be. That wild woman is being set free. Yay! Okay, so I'm working on it and I'm getting more comfortable with it. And I think it's so important to recognize that just because we were taught to be a certain way doesn't mean that's who we are. Deep down inside, the truth, that lies within. And the caveat here is that all that truth is within the scary darkness that we see. And when we work through these things, when we make a choice to change our lives and who we think we are, which is not necessarily the case of who we are, we find that beauty inside. We find that person in the darkness. So that's why it's not like going into a dark, whatever, and it's scary and there's demons in there. It can feel scary because our ego is there. And it tells us, oh, don't go in there, and protects us from that. However, what's happening is that when we shift, when we do meditation, when we do breath work, when we do body work, when we do, any type of healing modality, it actually shines light into that darkness. And so for many, many years recently, I think it's been probably about 5 years, something like that, at least since maybe 7, since 2015, where I learned that one of the things that I did, and I'm going to move the camera here a little bit so you can see what's happening here, but it helped me to connect with the deepest part of myself by putting when I started to feel an energy come up, whether it was anger or fear or sadness, or shame, whatever it is, I would put my hands on my heart and I would just breathe. Take deep breaths in. You can do it however you want to do it, whatever's comfortable for you. An easy way, and I've talked about it before, is like take a breath into the count of 4, hold it to the count of 4, and then let it go to the count of 4. And what this does for those of us who have been traumatized, it affects our central nervous system to the point where it can settle itself down. And so what happens is when we are traumatized, our nervous system gets like, woo! It's protecting us. And the protection sticks because there's so many things that happen on top of that. If something happened when we were a child, and as children, we don't know how to get out of that. And if the people around us don't help us through whatever we're dealing with, because they don't know how to do it, most times it's not malicious, sometimes it can be. And we don't understand how to work through that we get this feeling inside in our nervous system, which is an automatic physiological response to danger, which danger technically means something chasing us, like a tiger or a lion or whatever. It's not about walking into an office and somebody who has this, effective maybe narcissistic way of like attacking us. It's not about that. They're going through just as much, or they've gone through just as much trauma as we have, just in the opposite way. So there are different ways that trauma can reveal itself. But the point is that to calm the nervous system down, one of the things that I've done is the hands on the heart, the breath work, and then another one I want to share also has to do with, it has to do with, I don't remember the name of it, but if you remember, then write it in the notes, whatever. It's the tapping on the arms, or on the shoulders, where it balances your nervous system. And I'll take a look at it after I get off this podcast today and find what that is. And it just helps to calm you. And when you're going through something that just feels like you have no control over it, that's just your your body taking over. Your body is your vehicle. Your body is how you go through this life. And when we are constantly ignoring our body and paying attention to our mind, we get lost, because our mind can tell us all kinds of things that are not true, that we've learned when we were children, that have diminished us when we were children, that told us to be nice when we were children, that told us, with girls to be nice, with boys told us, oh, well, you're a sissy or whatever if you cry. That's not true. Those things are not true. You're human. That's it. That's all. And when you come across this opportunity, like for men, I've learned, men tend to cover their sadness, which also includes the crying, which they're not allowed to do, with anger. And there's other reasons for that too that I'm not going to get into today, but that's what happens when we cover that sadness. We get angry because we're never allowed to we're never allowed to emote, we're never allowed to show that feeling. Then you're going to get angry. That's just how it works, okay? And then with women, we tend to cover anger with sadness because a lot of us were not allowed to get angry. So we cry when we're angry instead of when we're sad, but it looks like it's sadness. So it took me a long time to figure that out. And I just want you to know that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. There wasn't anything wrong with me, because I'm seeing this huge shift with me and the changes that are coming out. And it's amazing. It's like, wait, who are you? So it can be taken care of. It can be done. It's just the self-care that people talk about. One of the things is to just be with yourself, be with your little child inside of you and say, hey, learn how to reparent yourself. Find someone who can teach you how to reparent. Find someone who can walk you through the inner child work. I do some inner child type work. I also do some reparenting type work and help you to see that it's okay to be that for yourself. Like if something comes up with your inner child and you're like, I know, I feel scared too. I know you're scared, but I know I'm here for you and I love you and I care about you and you're so awesome and you're doing such a great job. I never heard those things when I was young, so it's almost like telling yourself these things, becoming your mother, becoming the mother you needed, becoming the father you needed when you were growing up. That, again, not necessarily in a vindictive way, they just didn't know themselves how to do these things for you because they were never taught. So it's just some things to think about. And then back into the being nice part, there's a whole world of nice people out there who are being walked all over by people who are the exact opposite. They become the victims, and we don't want to be victims. We're not victims. We're very powerful people, and we just don't know that yet. It's in there. Trust me, I'm finding it. It's in there. So take a thought, take a breath, take to your heart, connect with your little child, and know that you are perfect. And I'm talking to your inner child right now. Know that you are perfect just the way you are. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything to deserve this. It's something that has been in this society for many generations. And the point is that we, at this time, get to raise our consciousness by shifting and healing this. that's my feeling on the point of being here right now, at least for the work I do. So know that you are an amazing human being and that you have the capacity to do this and that you are loved, that there's a truth inside of you that you don't even see yet, but it's there and it's amazing. And so I think that I've run out of thoughts on this subject. So what I want you to do is just remember, when you start to feel agitated or something's coming up, there's an emotion coming up and you don't know what to do with it, you can do the tapping or this that I'm going to look up, or you can put your hands on your heart and connect with your little child, your little boy or your little girl, and you just say, I'm here for you. It may take a little bit of work because sometimes at the very beginning when you're just learning this stuff, you don't even want to look at it, but just keep doing it. It's like a habit. You just build the habit, and just say, okay, it's okay, just like you would talk to your own kid. As long as you're talking to them in that loving way, so find that love. Find the love that you have for your own child, because even amazing parents still have moments because of their own traumas, unless they've done the healing work. So anyway, I hope this helped in some way, and I'm here if you have any questions. And I think that the only other thing that I wanted to share is that I'll be here in Oklahoma for a couple more weeks, I think. I haven't decided exactly when I'm leaving. And the other piece of that is I'm still working with my friend Tsushimoto, so I have some things that he wants to bring to you with the work that he does in meditation and abundance, and it's very powerful work, and I've been doing that work with some work with him, so I know that he's a really powerful human being, kind, gentle-hearted. So it's a very, I'm curious to see, because I haven't taken this class yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. But we are talking about it. We're working through the details for the first part of this, and I look forward to bringing that to you, because I think that it will be helpful. I use other people's methods to see how they work for me, and then when I know that they're working for me, then I share with others. So I know meditation works. I know changing our mentality or our thoughts or whatever about abundance works. So that's why I'm doing this with him. So anyway, have a beautiful moment wherever you are in the now, and take care, blessings, whatever you want to hear. I'm saying it, even though I'm not saying it. Love to all, and